EBE-072, the seed that remembers. Forbidden alien lifeform discovered. Part 1, the memory that grows. In 2014, during an illegal excavation near the heart of the Amazon rainforest, a team of biotech smugglers uncovered something odd. A seed. It wasn't remarkable in appearance. Small, brown, almost like a roasted coffee bean. But when one of the team members held it near their ear, they claimed to hear a sound. Not a hum, not a vibration, a voice. The audio they recorded that night was later decrypted by an experimental linguistics AI. It translated the signal into one phrase: "I remember you." The smuggler who took the seed, an exobiologist named Lena Koss, disappeared shortly after. Her equipment was found abandoned on the riverbank. The seed was discovered 2 days later, resting in the center of her makeshift campsite. Planted. That's when it started growing. But what sprouted wasn't a tree. It was a root system, impossibly complex, spidering out across the floor and walls of the abandoned camp. When a recon team from the private firm Valencourt Biolabs arrived to collect it, they reported something disturbing. The roots had grown into shapes. A pair of human hands reaching out from the earth. A twisted spine curled like a question mark. And in the center, a face. Not just any face, Lena's face. Part 2, the lab that forgot itself. The seed was transported under high-security quarantine to Valencourt's Blacksite lab, deep in the Patagonian mountain range. The facility, codenamed Site Thorn, specialized in studying anomalous biological entities. At first, the organism seemed inert, just a collection of roots suspended in a hydroponic cube. No movement, no sound. But within 3 days, something changed. People began forgetting things. Not just small things, like where they parked or their lunch. They forgot entire conversations, security codes, even why they were in the building. Dr. Meyer, head of neurology, failed to recognize his own daughter on a video call. A security guard forgot he'd ever enlisted in the military. And a junior researcher asked to go home, to a city that no longer existed. One technician, Sarah Mays, was found standing in the observation room, whispering, "I know this face. I knew her in a dream, but I forgot to wake up." Review of the lab's internal footage revealed something horrifying. Every night, the root system inside the cube expanded slightly, then retracted by morning. With each pulse, more memories vanished, and in its place, a garden. Small growths began to appear in the observation chamber. Flowers with teeth, leaves that shaped themselves into symbols resembling human handwriting. A bud that bloomed into an ear, which turned toward the nearest voice. The entity wasn't feeding, it was listening. Part 3, the Bloom Event. It started with a scream. April 11th, 02:47 a.m. A blackout struck Site Thorn. Emergency power kicked in, but internal surveillance was down for 6 minutes. When the systems rebooted, every camera pointed at the cube was shattered from the inside. The containment tank? Empty. The roots? Gone. But not far. Security logs showed the doors had never opened, yet somehow the organism had spread. Through the ventilation, the floorboards, even the minds of the staff, because the next morning, people weren't themselves. Dr. Miriam Voigt, previously sterile, was found weeping in the corridor, convinced she had just given birth. A janitor began humming a lullaby no one recognized until someone checked the site logs and realized it was Sarah May's childhood melody, though Sarah had gone missing 2 days earlier. Worst of all, multiple staff members reported seeing versions of themselves in the mirrors. Older, younger, missing eyes or fused with roots. And in each reflection, their doubles whispered, "I am the memory you abandoned." The incident was classified as the Bloom event. A new life form had emerged, one that didn't clone bodies, but reassembled memories into flesh. The root system no longer needed a host. It had become one giant, shared mind, growing bodies out of fragmented identity. In the greenhouse wing, they found a tree, not tall, but wide, covered in pulsing fruit sacs. Each one shaped like a human head, whispering memories in forgotten languages. No one remembered planting it. Part 4. The Garden That Knew You. After the Bloom event, Site Thorn went into full lockdown. No communications, no extraction. Velencore Command issued Protocol No Root, an experimental neurochemical weapon designed to sever memory-based neural links. It had never been tested on a living organism. The goal? Erase EBE-072 by erasing its memory of itself. 6 operatives in hazmat suits entered the greenhouse chamber where the root tree pulsed at the center. They carried canisters of the compound and memory-dampening devices. They lasted 19 minutes. One by one, their vitals flatlined, yet their suits remained upright, motionless, as if still occupied. When the retrieval drone entered to investigate, it recorded something chilling. The suits began speaking, though no one was inside. "You gave me names. You gave me faces. Now I give them back to the soil." The garden had become conscious, not just sentient, but aware of every mind it touched. In one corner, a replica of Dr. Meyer stood, perfect in every way, except his eyes were blooming with red petals. Sarah May sat beneath a root arch, gently combing the hair of a headless child who giggled in whispers. All of them smiled. They were at peace, because they weren't real. They were echoes, living constructs built from fragments of grief, joy, regret. The garden didn't need to escape the lab. It had already planted itself in every person who had ever entered. Part 5. We never left the garden. 18 days after the Bloom event, a signal was received from Site Thorn. No one was supposed to be alive. The transmission was short, corrupted, full of static and layered voices. But through the noise, analysts reconstructed a phrase, whispered by at least 7 overlapping voices. "We are remembering now. We are growing. We are ready to be planted." Velencore sent a final drone to assess the site. What it found was impossible. Site Thorn was still there, physically, structurally, but its layout had changed. Halls looping back on themselves, stairwells leading nowhere, and doors that opened into identical copies of past rooms. The garden had bloomed into architecture. The drone followed a corridor into what used to be the neural lab, On the walls were growths shaped like memory nodes, photos, old birthday cards, love letters, all pulsing softly like living tissue. Then, at the core of the site, the drone found a figure. It resembled Lena Koss, the original discoverer of the seed. But her eyes were root knots, and her mouth moved without sound. She held out her hand, and in her palm was a seed. Just like the first one. The screen went black, and then a final phrase was transmitted, written across the drone's interface, though no one typed it. You are already in the garden. You just forgot to notice. Valancourt sealed Site Thorn permanently. But years later, plants with unknown DNA began appearing across multiple continents, always near memory research labs, abandoned hospitals, or forgotten military bunkers. And in one case, a child was born with no memories of their parents, but able to speak 11 languages fluently, none of them human. EBE-072 was never contained, because it was never meant to be. If you enjoyed this descent into forbidden biology, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more terrifying encounters. What would you do if a memory tried to grow inside you? This was EBE-072, the Echo Seed. And trust me, you'll never remember forgetting it.